So today we are going to be reading There Is No Escape, Yandere SCPFoundation, ex-listener up in here. So, we are currently in chapter 25, but I'm going to barely be going back a chapter because of the recap. So it's really a very simplistic recap because it's basically just the last chapter that we read basically told us everything of what happened to our family, to us, and how we ended up basically in the SCP Foundation. Every background, everything. I wouldn't want to go too much into detail because it is a very, very, very long chapter. It is quite long. So all I want to say is that basically our dad ended up putting us in the asylum, and he's basically the reason that we keep forgetting everything and our powers is because of him. And that he's the one who made our grandpa disappear. And, well, yeah. So, and then the one who ended up hitting us with the car is the guy that we met, in the SCP, the latest SCP that we met. And, he was sorry that he hit us because we were just attracting him with our powers without us realizing it, because you remember our dad's making us forget that we even had powers. And stuff like that. So anyways, now officially, without further ado, we are in chapter 25. And the author's like, sorry if this seems kind of rushed. Alright. Pop's POV. I looked through some paper. She still hasn't said anything. One of the scientists around me said as I looked through more of the papers. Are the O5s meeting, right? I asked as they nodded. I have to suggest something to them. Take me where they're meeting, I said, smirking. Time skip / Ryan's POV. Get up. A guard said as I slowly stood up. I wonder how long it's been since I woke up. I wiped a few tears away. Should I ask where we're going? I don't think it matters. Now does it? I sighed and shook my head. I need to stop thinking like that. I followed close to the guards as he stopped at a large door with more guards. Stay here and wait for the door to open. Then walk forward. The guard said. I looked at the door and sighed. I guess this is it, huh? I closed my eyes as I could feel an extremely familiar presence surrounding me. I'm going to see them again, and I'm going to die after this. I walked as the door opened, making me walk forward. I watched as I saw another door open. Open, revealing some of my family members. How fun. I looked into the middle of the room and a table with some chairs. Well, here we go. I walked forward and over to the table, quickly sitting down as I was faced with Pops as he tipped his hat. Nice to meet you, stranger, he said, smiling as I nodded, acknowledging his presence as I watched other people walk over to the table and quickly sit down. I looked around the room, seeing other observer rooms with a bunch of doctors along with more familiar faces. So, Mason started, Who the fuck sold us out and why are we being treated like zoo animals? He asked, crossing his arms, making William whine. I smiled at William, waving my hand a little as he seemed to calm a bit down. Bet it was that dumbass, BBN said, pointing to father. What? He asked, obviously slightly offended by his own son's comment. You heard me, BBN said, as I noticed the gloves he wore. I guess he had to wear that so this place wouldn't find out about the serpent's hand tattoo. I sighed and looked over to Lucas and his husband as he held his 2 daughters close. It was actually me, Pop said, raising his hand. You son of a bitch, Lucas yelled, standing up as Pop sighed. Calm down and let me explain, he said as Lucas grinded his teeth and sat back down. Now, let me tell you how I got here. I'm sure that you all know I suddenly disappeared that day. Pop was stopped. Yeah, where'd you go, old-timer? BBN asked, leaning back into his chair. Oh, I was sent to a pocket dimension where I couldn't breathe nor see nor feel. I couldn't really do anything. But that's all thanks to your godforsaken father, BBN. Pops said, oddly happy as I sighed. I apologize for making the tool he used to do that, I said. Pops looked over to me. She talks, he said, whistling. Any input? He asked as I shrugged. Aren't you mad that he sent you here? Pops asked. Of course I'm mad. Wait, he did what? Mason yelled, standing up and slamming his hand onto the table. Oh, you didn't know. He's the one that put Wyan in here. Pop said as father scoffed. It was for her protection. He said simply, protection my ass, BBN yelled, smashing his hand onto the table. May I put my input? Isabel said, raising her hand as everyone looked at her. To be fair, she has a reason to. Chaos Urgency, Serpent's Hand, The Church of the Broken God, Dr. Wondertainment, etc. Those names I just mentioned all had YN on their radar, not mentioning the SCP-Foundation. I love those people would have been extremely more dangerous if they got their hands on anyone in the family, especially YN. She said, I looked down at my hands as all my family members seemed to get into the conversation and debate on whether or not they were wrong or not. How troublesome. I looked over to Ava. She looked sad. I guess it's time to begin, I muttered as BBN looked over to me, making me look at him. So, when's the raid? I asked as he seemed to I don't know what you mean, he muttered, looking away as I sighed and felt hurt. Still running away, it seems, I muttered, but I won't run. I looked at his and leaned back. It should be any minute now. I felt my eyes wander as I spotted a sad-looking Dr. Glass looking at me. I sighed and looked over to Isabel as she stared at me sadly. How are your hands treating you? I asked as she smiled very well. Thank you for giving them to me, she said as I stared at her medical hands. I'm glad I met her. I smiled. Whatever did you do with that necklace, YN? I looked over to Mason as he stared at me. Simple. I've placed it in where a heart should be, I said as I closed my eyes again. What necklace? Pops asked. Oh, I was cut off as the room suddenly turned red, making an alarm go off. I guess it's time to start. I stood up along with everyone. I looked over to the guards as they point guns at us. No one move! The guard was also cut off as the door of the room was quickly down, revealing Abel. Time to go, I muttered as I ran towards him quickly, running past him. Slow them down for me, I told Abel as I quickly started to run down in different hallways. Please, wait, you'll die. I didn't listen as I could hear the destruction surrounding me as the SCP started to roam and destroy. I never really was the one to listen, Ava. Maybe I can join them in the afterlife if I do this. I doubt I'll be able to go where they went through. I returned a corner as I quickly glanced behind me, seeing Isabel chasing after me. What? I was quickly tackled to the ground. I gasped as she quickly held me down. Wismayan, please stop resisting, she said. No. Why are you ding thing? Blah. Aren't you supposed to listen to me? I yelled at her. Dr. Wondertainment ordered me to protect you, even from yourself. She was stopped as I watched bullet quickly pass through her glass head, quickly shattering it along with her bullet. Damn, they're here. I looked over, seeing the Serpent's Hand members. Damn. I looked at the broken pieces of Isabella, feeling it pull at my heartstrings. Where is it? I quickly grabbed the necklace and placed it around my neck before running off again. Thank you, Isabella, for holding on to this. I looked at the blue amulet that I held close to my heart. I quickly ran down a hallway, turning down in different directions. I need to get away from them. I looked behind me, seeing many guards chasing after me. BBN certainly went all out. I moved down another hallway only to be met with a closed door. Damn it! I looked back, seeing the guards catching up with me, only to quickly be stopped as the ceiling caved in. Fuck. I pressed my back to the wall, trying not to breathe in the dust-filled air. I waited for a few moments to open my eyes, only to be faced with broken pieces of technology that covered the whole wall. The whole thing caved in. I looked up to the door, placing my fingers in between the places where the two sides meet. All the electricity should be on the door. Should be out. The door should be open. I started to push the door apart. Then why isn't this open? I pushed and pushed, and there was just enough room for me to get through. I quickly squeezed through this tiny space, revealing another hallway that leads into more hallways. Why was this door closed? I walked forwards, only to be stopped by a loud screeching as I turned to the ceiling, seeing more shaftful fall. Oh. I felt a piercing pain as I watched the sharp pieces of shaftful quickly tore through my chest. That door was closed to stop me from walking to my death. I could feel blood pour from my mouth as I started to violently cough, trying to keep the blood from filling my lungs. Damn it. I choked, feeling the blood start to pour out of me. Mama? I turned to see Seguros? Why? I'm saying his name so wrong, I'm embarrassed. Why here? I felt tears well in my eyes as she ran over to me. Don't worry, I'll help you. She yelled, raising her hands as the shrapnel that fell from the ceiling entirely disappeared almost in an instant. Seguros. That sounds better. I muttered as she ran over to my side, placing her hands over the wounds. Don't worry, I grabbed her hand, feeling the energy run through me. Stop. I need you to go back, I said, pushing her away. Mama? She muttered, please just go. I muttered, I die how I want. I watched as she looked at me for a minute, then quickly ran away. I sighed, feeling myself getting very, very tired. I should get rid of this. I looked down at the blue amulet that made me tear up. I wish you the best, Jack. I just can't go through this. I pushed the amulet away as I saw it hit someone's boot. Who? I groaned, looking up and seeing a man. Another SCP? I muttered as he crouched down, picking up the amulet. This yours? He asked, opening a cigarette box, taking one from and lighting it. Yeah, I said as he nodded. Guess you're not the smoking type, he said, putting the cigarette box away as I nodded, having a hard time breathing. The man nodded again as I looked at him. The amulet. I muttered, He hummed, taking a puff of his cig. Please, take it somewhere no one can find it, I muttered as I looked at the amulet in his hand. Sure, he said, standing up. In these last moments, I think you'd rather be alone, right? He said, started to walk away before I even got the chance to answer. I looked down at my still gushing wound. I guess this is it. I could feel myself my vision starting to blur. I guess I'll never see the light of day again. I closed my eyes, feeling myself slowly slip away. But this is what I wanted. I could hear someone start to approach me, but it didn't matter. I was already gone. The end. Or is it? JK. Or is it? Man, this better be the fucking end, man. I swear. Oh, God, this better be the end. But it's not, because there is multiple endings out to read. So, there is multiple endings. Alright, so, oh, this is a cute one. That's cute. That's cute. I like that. Alright, so this is, now, this is gonna get into Dr. Jack's bright ending. Wine's POV. I felt my eyes fluttered open, only for me to close them tight as I felt a sharp pain in my gut. I opened my eyes again, expecting the same bright white hospital lights, only to be met with soft yellow ones. Huh? I stopped for a moment, looking at the stationary fan that the lights were connected to. I moved a little, feeling a nice soft bed under me and warm plush blankets on top of me. I stopped feeling hot. I stopped feeling... What? High horse? Are you high, girl? I'm just kidding. I stopped talking as my throat was dry. Where am I? I looked around at my surroundings, seeing a big bed that held me. I looked, seeing two bedside tables with lamps on them and a few clothes hanging on a chair that was by a desk that looked quite messy. Huh, such a deep color of red. I looked at the sheets and moved them, revealing I was just in a pair of boxers and a cat t-shirt that was obviously not my size. I choked as I felt another sharp pain. I grabbed at the rim of the t-shirt, lifting it up slowly, seeing bandages wrapped all around my torso. So it wasn't just a bad dream. I sighed, looking to the close side table, seeing a bunch of bloody rags and bandages with a few pills and a bottle of water. These must have changed. These must have been changed recently. I looked down at the bowl of water, hoping for some drinking watch, only to be met with a slightly bloody watch. Damn. I moved a little more to the edge of the bed, being careful not to reopen my wounds. I grabbed the side table slowly, standing up, feeling how weak my body is. Hello? I croaked softly. If my wound was just changed, then the person should still be here. I could hear someone panicked footsteps running towards the room. I watched as Dr. Bright burst into the room wearing some sweatpants and a t-shirt. Holy shit! He yelled at me, making my grip on the table loosen. I choked as I slipped, almost falling to the ground, only for Dr. Bright to catch me. I could smell his familiar cologne as he carefully lifted me to the bed, placing me down. You shouldn't be standing, he said, readjusting his glasses. I stopped feeling my burning throat scream in pain. Oh, sorry, I'll get you something for that. I watched as he quickly left me in the room, running back to where he came from. I moved into a more comfortable position. What the hell happened? Is this his house? I looked around a little closer, but couldn't find any images or pictures of him. I wonder why I'm in his bed if this is his house. I heard footsteps approaching again as Dr. Bright came back in with a glass of water. He walked over to me as I raised the glass to my mouth. Why isn't he just letting me hold it? I took a few sips, raising my hand to hold the glass, only for Dr. Bright to pull it away and place it on the bedside. I paused, thinking about what was I about to say. What happened? I whispered as he hummed. Well, a lot, he said, sitting down on the edge of the bed. What do you mean? I asked. Well, I found you in a hallway bleeding out, and I couldn't just leave you there. He paused, rubbing the back of his head, blushing slightly. I looked at him for a minute, then sighed. Thank you, I muttered, still feeling the ache in my throat, making me reach out for the water glass. I wonder why he did that. I grabbed it, being careful not to spill it or drop the glass. I love you, I heard Dr. Bright said suddenly as I choked on my water. I almost dropped the glass, only to have Dr. Bright wrap his hands around my hands and the glass. Sorry, that was kind of sudden. He chuckled as my face seemed to light on fire. I stuttered making him chuckle. That was the reason, if you wanted to know, he said. The reason for what? I asked, still feeling heat on my face. The reason that I helped you. I know how that sounds. Pretty selfish, right? He said, laughing at himself. I stared at him for a minute. That is pretty selfish reason. Did he think that because he saved me that I would fall in love with him? I scoffed, rubbing my head. Does he really love me? I looked back up at him. You don't have to answer me now. Take all the time you need, he said, blushing again, and down on my cup, and I looked down on my cup for a second. Could someone like him really love someone like me? I looked into his eyes, finding except his love. So sorry. So basically we have the option to not accept his love and accept his love, I'm assuming. So I'm assuming this is if we accept his love or not. This is accepting his love. I blushed and averted my eyes quickly. Why is he looking at me with such longing? I felt my face redden. Could he really love me? No, he can't. I felt a hand on my forehead as I looked back up, seeing Dr. Bright smiling at me. Is your fever coming back? He asked, smiling at me as I bit my lip. I raised my hand and grabbed his. I paused, blushing even more. I think I love you too, I said, feeling very nervous as he pulled me into a tight hug. I don't think you know how long I waited for you to say that, he muttered into my shoulder as I shivered, quickly hugging him back. I'm glad you're happy, Dr. Bright, I said as he pulled away and booped my nose. No more Dr. Bright. Jack. I want you to call me Jack. You have no excuses anymore, he said, smiling like a madman, making me giggle. I guess you're right, Jack, I said slowly as he smiled even more. I really don't think you know how long I wanted you to say that, he said very happily. I giggled, feeling this lightness in my chest. How long did you like me? I asked as he looked at me. The second I saw you, he said, giving me a flirtatious wink as I blushed. Really? 'Cause I could have been sure that you glared at me the very first time you saw me, I said as he made a weird sound with his mouth. Did not, he said, crossing his arms, pouting. How cute. I let out a satisfied sigh. Maybe I can find happiness here. Jack suddenly got a face of realization and turned to me. Guess what? He said as I tilted my head. What? I asked as he quickly pulled me in for a kiss. Our lips met as I instinctively closed my eyes. His lips are so soft. I shivered, feeling his lips move to deepen the kiss before pulling away and looking into my eyes with his ruby red ones. I guess you're finally getting the chance to prove me guilty, he said, smirking as I felt my face redden even more. The bear! I don't think I'm ready for that, I said, pushing him away slightly, only for him not to move a muscle for a second, then backed up. I wouldn't expect you to, because the injury has to gather defense before they can be proven a criminal. They can prove a criminal guilty, right? He said as I giggled. I think that it's the other way around. I stopped, suddenly feeling an extreme wave of sleepiness overcome me. I stopped falling backwards, feeling my body grow weak. Oh, don't worry. You probably just pushed yourself too hard, Jack said, coming to my side as I looked at him with my tired eyes. Good night, he muttered softly, kissing my forehead and making me slip into darkness. And then this is the option if we deny his love. Now, there may or may not be warnings on here of maybe violence, maybe death, of how we will know, no idea. But anyways, if we deny his love. I saw obsession making me quickly shiver in fright. Shit, what am I going to do? I can barely walk and Dr. Bright isn't the most stable. I could feel my body quiver, but I can't just fake it. I swallowed the pit that seemed to gather in my mouth. I'm sorry, but I can't accept your feelings for me, I said, feeling extremely nervous as he still stared at me. That's okay. I could see the lights in his eyes quickly turn dark, almost as if they were never there. You'll learn to love me, so don't worry. You just need some time. I understand that what you just went through was probably a lot, and springing this on you wouldn't make it any better, so don't worry. It'll all work out in the end, he said, smiling at me. I shivered even more. What do you mean, learn? I asked, feeling afraid now. Those drugs should be kicking in at any moment now, so why does it matter? Just go to sleep, he said. Drugs? I looked down at my water. Damn it! I lifted my hands towards my mouth to force myself to vomit, only to have Dr. Bright's hands grab mine, pinning me down to the bed. When did Dr. Bright get so strong? When did I get so weak? I looked up at him as I could feel my vision start to blur. Just sleep, trust me. It'll make you feel better, he said as I could start to feel myself drift away against my best protest. Damn, I couldn't even finish my sentence as I was pulled into an unwilling sleep. Oh my goodness. That is so sad. I'm like, damn. Well, I mean, he did mention he would drug us, so, yeah. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. Alright. Alright, that is, what the fuck? Did y'all see that? His face turned into a whole ass spider. What the fuck? It's like, do you know Dewe? Like, that's what look at the spider, y'all, real quick. Do you know Dewe? Sorry, I just had to say that. Anyways, Dr. Alto Clefs, Francis, can't say that word, ending. Ryan's POV. I slowly opened my eyes, waiting to see the bright lights of the Foundation, only to be met with a dark room, only being illuminated with a single lamp. I moved my head toward the light, seeing a small bed lamp. Why is my head so fuzzy? I moved a little, feeling some aching from my torso. What? I felt my throat also ache as I looked to the bedside table, seeing open packages of pills and a glass of water. That's a little suspicious. I grabbed the water and quickly drank some, feeling the burning disappear. I sighed and sat up, feeling sheets that were on me fall off. Huh? I looked down, seeing that I was laying on some kind of messy bed with a funny t-shirt and sweats on. Where am I? I looked around, seeing a messy room with colorful-looking shirts and cargo pants. Everywhere. Hello? I said into the empty room. I waited a few minutes, not hearing anything, only for the door to be opened to be Dr. Clef, who suddenly walked through the door, looking at me. I'm glad, he said, smiling, as he walked over to me. Dr. Clef, I muttered. What happened? I asked as he sat down on the bed. I looked at him as he smiled at me, suddenly pulling me into a hug. I'm so glad you're okay. I could hear the tremble in his voice. Dr. Clef? I asked. Right, you deserve an explanation. He said, unhanding me. I found you bleeding out on the foundation floor. I couldn't just leave you there, you know, so I took you with me and patched you up. He said, smiling, as I was still a little confused. Why would he risk everything for me? If the Foundation found out, he would be dead. I felt my heart move in my chest. Why would you do that? I asked, looking at him as he scoffed. You're still as dense as ever, I see, he said, smirking. Why do you think I saved you? He asked, looking at me longingly. I felt a weird sensation in the pit of my weird feeling in the pit of my stomach as I looked down. I don't know, I said slowly. Maybe he wants to use me for his own schemes. I looked back to Dr. Clef. Did you save me because you wanted to use me? I asked slowly, making him chuckle. Well, that's one way you could put it up. But I guarantee you that probably you're taking it in the wrong direction, he said. Then why? I asked slowly. Dr. Clef smirked at me, then sighed. Truly dense, he said, quickly pulling me in for a kiss before I had any time to react. I made a weird noise, feeling my body grow hot, making my body instantly weaker than it already was. I could feel his lips move with mine as he seemed to hold me close with minimum effort. God, you're so cute, he said, breathlessly pulling away. I started, still flustered on the sudden kiss, and how close he was still holding me. Why did he just do that? Dr. Clef seemed to laugh at my ignorance. You still don't get it. He asked. I love you. That's why I saved you, he said, kissing my nose playfully. I looked into his eyes as he stared into mine. So what's your answer? He asked, smiling at me, showing his hungry teeth. Excuse me, cannibal? I stuttered. This is if you accept his love. I felt my face getting even harder. I love you too, I muttered quickly, burying my face in his shoulder, which seemed to make him snicker. Why can't you tell me to my face? Have to hide? He asked, snuggling into the side of my neck as I did his. Well, it's embarrassing, I said as he rubbed my head, humming a little. Really now, how cute, he said, pulling me from his shoulder. I guess we're a thing now? He asked in a more joking tone. Well, I kinda didn't have a choice, I said jokingly as he smirked. Yep, you are now my love slave, he said, smirking. Like hell I am, I said, pushing his face away from me as he laughed. Dr. Clef fell backward onto the rest of the bed. How rude, he giggled, sitting back up. Dr. Clef, I was stopped. Alto Clef is my full name, he said. But not that my real name, but I don't think I'm ready to tell you that just yet. Just call me Alto, he said as I nodded. I get it, I said, smiling. Something probably happened to him. That's why he has trust issues. He stared at me as I stared back. So I'm guessing this is your house? I asked. Yep, he chirped. Why is it such a mess? I asked as he pouted. I'm just a messy person, he said, pouting more. Oh, that reminds me. I need to clean up a little bit, he said, standing up. I watched as he started to go around the room picking up clothing. I still can't believe he loves me. I can't actually believe I love him. I placed my hand over my chest. But this feeling, what is it? I sighed and laid down. I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. I felt my eyes closing, beginning to get sleepy again. I guess I'll just try my best. I felt myself slip into deep sleep. This is if you deny his love. I'm not guaranteeing anybody's safety. Nobody's. Absolutely no one's. Anyways, I felt myself shiver. Something's not right. I looked into his eyes. When he kissed me, it didn't feel like it felt like he wanted to eat me whole. I instinctively pushed him away. I'm sorry, I don't think that's a good idea, I said, feeling scared as I pressed my back up against the backboard. What is he going to do? I stared at him as he just smiled back at me. That's okay, he said, getting off the bed and walking away a little. But I just can't let you leave now, you know, he said, looking off somewhere that wasn't at me. If the Foundation got their hands on you again, I'm dead. And you would be used for something terrible, he said, pausing, looking back at me. So, I'm not going to let you go, Dr. Clefs said, walking back over, sitting ever closer. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to protect you, you know? So don't be scared, he said. What do you mean? I didn't get to finish my sentence as I felt something close around my ankle. Huh? I looked down, seeing a chain and a cuff around my ankle. What the hell? I asked, looking back at Dr. Clefs as he held a key. Sorry, but I know you'd probably try and run, so I have to do this, he said, standing up. Hey! I yelled. Oh, don't bother screaming either. This whole room is soundproof, he said, walking over to the door. Stop! I yelled, getting off the bed and running towards him, only to be pulled back by the chain, falling to the ground. Stop that, you'll hurt yourself, he said, bending down to my level, about to touch my head. Don't touch me, I yelled, hitting his hand away as I could feel tears slip from my eyes. All right, be like that, he said, frowning as he stood up. I watched as he walked out of the room, leaving me to cry on the floor. Damn it! Damn it! I felt my body shake. To one prison to another. I felt more tears escape my eyes as I laid on the floor, not wanting to move. That is just so sad. How many do we have left? Ah! Oh my god. I want to finish all of these endings in this video. If I can. If I can. Okay. This is Dr. Benjamin Kondraki ending. Looking nice, my guy. Looking nice with the butterflies. Wine's POV. I felt my eyes slowly open at the smell of coffee. Huh? I croaked out, looking up at a ceiling fan. Where am I? I looked around the room as I was I looked around the room. I was mostly seeing mostly dark wood furniture around the room, with a desk that seemed to be covered in papers, with a single desk lamp that seemed to be lighting up the room. Are those empty cups? I looked closer at the desk, seeing more than one coffee cup. Why so much? I was snapped out of my thoughts as I heard the door open. It's too late for this shit, I heard a familiar voice say as I watched Dr. Kondraki walk into the room. He looks different. I looked at the bags under his eyes and how he didn't seem to have his puffy jacket on anymore, only in a t-shirt and some comfy-looking pants. I wonder if she'll wake up soon. Dr. Kondraki stopped as he looked into my open eyes. He stopped to cover his mouth for a second. What happened? I said, attempting to sit up, only for Dr. Kondraki to walk over to me and push me back down into the soft bed. Don't sit up. You're somewhere safe, he said as I looked up at him. What's going on? I watched as he walked over to the desk, grabbing the chair and pulling it over me. What happened? I asked again as he sat down. Well, when everything started to go to shit, I chased after you. It took me a little while to catch up, but when I found you, you were bleeding out. I couldn't leave you alone, so I took you with me. He said as I stared at him. Why? I asked softly. They seemed to make him blush a little and lean back in his desk chair. That's a hard question, he muttered. I don't really know how to say this without sounding like a creep, he said to me as I raised one of my eyebrows. Well, the situation isn't exactly normal, so I don't expect a normal answer, I said as he chuckled. Yeah, I guess, he said. I watched as Dr. Kondraki seems to try and gauge my reaction by my face. Okay, yeah. So how to put this? Well, bluntly, I guess. I love you more than you think, he said as I felt my face heat up. What? I was stopped. That was sudden, but it's the truth, he said. When did you start to feel that way? I asked, pulling the covers over my face some more. Dr. Kondraki seems to think for a moment. This might sound a little cheesy, but it was the first time you kissed me. Well, the first time I kissed you, I guess, he said as I blushed even more, remembering the moment. Oh, I muttered softly. So what's your answer? Do you like me or not? He asked very bluntly, obviously impatient. What should I say? I looked at his face as he seemed to be lost in his sullen thoughts. Damn it. I bit my lip. This is if you accept his love. I looked back at him. Before I answer you, can you tell me your name? I mean your full name. I mean your first name. I muttered quickly, adding the last part. Oh. He seemed to contemplate the question for a minute before quickly answering. Benjamin Kondraki. Just Ben, though. I kind of get pissed when someone calls me Benjamin. He said, oh, okay, well, Ben, I love you. He said, smiling up at him, which seemed to take him off guard. I watched as his face seemed to flush. Damn, I didn't see that one coming. He said, covering his mouth for a minute, then looking at me, seeming to think. What's wrong? I was stopped as Ben leaned down and pressed his lips against mine. I felt a shiver run up my spine as the contact was making me close my eyes. His lips felt warm and slightly tasted like coffee. Why does this feel so good? He waited a few more seconds before pulling away. I bet you didn't see that one, he said, panting a little as I let out a breathless sigh. Yeah, I said, feeling butterflies in my stomach. See what I did there? Stop it, Arthur. I watched as Ben begin to run his hand through my hair, lost in thought. This is nice. I felt my eyes begin to close. A little too nice. I felt myself slowly drift off. Even the one that accepted his love feel a little sussy. I know. This is if you deny his love. And I hope that you have mercy on your soul. I felt a sudden sadness. He doesn't love me. How could he? I'm sorry, but I can't accept your love, I said slowly, feeling myself get sadder with each word. That's too bad. He said, see, he doesn't care. I felt my lip quiver slightly, only to be stopped by a sharp pain in my neck. I instantly pulled away from the pain, looking to Dr. Kondraki as he held a needle in his hand. I really hoped you wouldn't say that, he muttered as I saw my vision starting to blur. Not again! I started to scratch at the entry point, feeling tears pour out of my eyes. I felt the bed shift as I looked up at Dr. Kondraki as he pulled me closer to him, wiping away a few tears. Don't worry, and forget. I couldn't hear him clearly enough as I started fading out. No. I only could feel his warm embrace as I blacked out. Oh, well. Looks like he gave you that serum that your dad gave you. But, you know. We're getting closer, people. We can do this. We can make it to the end. Ah, okay. Dr. Simon Glass ending. Okay, a lot of ducks. Wine's POV. I felt my eyes flutter open, hearing a soft humming. What's that? I looked up to the ceiling, seeing a short, honey-colored room. I suddenly felt a slight stinging sensation making me flinch. I yelped as the humming suddenly stopped. Ah, Wyan, you're awake! I looked at Dr. Glass as he had a bowl of some kind of liquid and a rag that he was dabbling on my wounds that seemed to spread open on my lower chest. I yelled, feeling panic rise in me. How did I get here? What happened? Why is there so many cuts on me? I was snapped out of my panic with a soft touch to my face. Calm down. You're fine. Dr. Glass whispered to me softly. What? I stuttered, still frightened. Don't worry about it, YN. Just take some deep breaths for a second and I'll tell you, he said. I looked at his face for a second and I looked at his face, seeing he was completely serious. I stopped my thoughts and started to take some breaths, feeling a little better after a minute. What happened? I asked as he sighed. Well, when I found you, you were in bad shape. He stopped as he frowned with teary eyes. I couldn't leave you there. I would have rather died. You were bleeding out so much, and he stopped covering his mouth. Did he save me? I stared at him as I could see some tears being quickly wiped away. Sorry, I've just been worried these past few days, he muttered, sniffling a little. So you saved me? I asked softly as he nodded. Yeah, He stopped blushing at his words. He took some breaths and looked back down at my open wounds. Need to clean the rest of your wounds, he muttered as I looked back down. See my wounds bleeding a little. Oh, okay. I muttered, feeling panic rise in me. Okay. I said slowly as I watched Dr. Glass pick up the rag he was using and start to dab it on my wounds again. Ow. I felt a stinging sensation as he cleaned my wounds. So why did you save me? I asked softly as he stopped for a second before continuing to clean. Well, what kind of person would I be if I just watched you die? He asked as he smiled. Also, could you sit up for a second? He asked as I did what he told me to. But the Foundation would have killed you if they found out. I asked as he stopped for a second, only to start to wrap the bandages around my torso. Well, there's another reason, he muttered softly. I looked at him for a moment, wondering about what the reasons were, only to get distracted by the nicely decorated room I was in. This place looks nice. I looked at the soft yellows and whites colors of the room. Your room is very nice, I muttered. Oh, thank you, he said, finishing the bandages. So, may I ask what the other reason was? I asked slowly, feeling myself kind of get nervous. I guess this is his house, but why am I here? I watched him as he seemed kind of nervous. There were a few seconds of silence before he sighed. Well, to put it simply, I might have a small crush on you, he said as I blinked at him before I could feel my face catch on fire. What? I asked as he chuckled. I don't want to dump a bunch of stuff on you right away, but you insisted, so I kind of fell in love with you, just a little. He laughed a little. But why would you do that? I asked. Well, I can't really choose what my heart desires, he said, blushing. Is that why you saved me? I asked as he nodded. Yeah, I mean, if I watched someone I love die right in front of me, what kind of person would I be? Probably not someone good. Anyway, you don't have to answer me right away. I just want you to know that you can stay here as long as you want, no matter what your answer is, and I'll help you with anything I can, he said, smiling at me as I stared at him. This is if you accept his love. I looked at him and blushed. When did Dr. Glass get so cute? I felt my face flush even more at the thought. No, more like handsome. My train of thought was stopped as I felt a hand on my face. When? Dr. Glass asked as I stared up at his face. So close. I felt my face heat up even more. I stopped talking as I covered my mouth and pushed him away from me. Oh? He asked, a little surprised at the sudden push. I'm sorry, you just got a little too close, I said, suddenly feeling guilty. It's okay, I get it. I'm sure that startled you, he said, blushing. I feel something move in my chest. Can you tell me your name? I mean, like your first name, I asked, seeing as he smiled. Simon. It's Simon, he said happily. So Simon Glass. That's a nice name, I said, feeling awkwardness move in me. Simon, I think I like you too, I said, looking down at my hands. That feels weird to say. I don't really know how these things work. I've never really had someone confess to me, So it kind of makes me feel weird. It kind of feels weird to say, I said as I felt someone kiss my cheek. How cute, Simon muttered, pulling away as I blushed, rubbing my cheek. What was that for? I asked as he chuckled. Well, because you're a cutie, he said, smiling. I felt my face become red. Well, you aren't so bad yourself, I muttered as he chuckled. You're cuter, though, he said, giggling as he patted my head. You should get some rest now. I think we both had enough excitement for today, he said as I nodded, suddenly feeling tired. All right, I said. Maybe I can heal faster if I sleep. I laid back down, starting to get comfortable in the bed. I'll come and check on you in a little, Simon said, getting up and turning off the lights. Good night. Sleep tight, he said, walking out of the room as I slowly drifted off to sleep. This is if you deny his love. I looked at his face and sighed. I'm sorry, but I don't like you, I muttered as he sighed. That's all right, Dr. Glass said, patting my head. Huh? I looked back up at him as he smiled. Don't worry. I wouldn't have told you if I didn't expect this answer, he said, but I can't let you leave just yet, he said, standing up. What? I asked, suddenly feeling very scared. You're still injured. I can't just let you leave like this. I want you to heal first before you leave, he said. Oh. I suddenly I said, suddenly feeling a wave of relief. I thought I was about to be held against my will. I looked back to Dr. Glass as he seemed to be lost in thought. Oh, I just remembered that I put the kettle on. Want some tea? He asked suddenly. Okay. I said slowly. Honey or no? He asked. Either is fine, I said, waving my hand. Dr. Glass smiled and nodded. I'll be back soon, he said as he quickly walked out of the room. I really didn't think you'd act that way. I thought he would be angry at my rejection, but he doesn't seem like he was. I sighed. I guess that means he doesn't really love me. If he did, he'd probably have reacted more emotionally. I shook my head. Shh, child, shh. I already rejected him, so why does this matter? I looked back down at the soft-colored sheets as I started to daydream. Dr. Glass POV. I hummed as I quickly placed the kettle on the stove. I wonder what tea she likes. I looked through my cabinet trying to find a nice-tasting tea. I guess something with pain relieves effects. Her wounds have gotten better, but I can tell her wounds still ache. I grabbed some chamomile tea bags and the honey jar. I guess it'll do, I said, placing the 2 containers down. Excuse me. Oh, I almost forgot. I quickly reached into my pocket and grabbed the pill bottle that was stored there. I really hoped I wouldn't have to use these, but I guess I wasn't charming enough. I started and placed the bottle on the counter. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I watched as the kettle began to whistle. That was fast. I grabbed the 2 mugs and placed them down, grabbing a towel to grab the kettle. I wonder how much honey I should put in it. I poured some boiling water into the cups and quickly placed the bags of chamomile tea in it. Maybe just a spoonful. I grabbed a spoon and the honey, taking some of it and putting it in the cups. Maybe 2 spoonfuls? Yeah, 2. I placed more honey into the cups. I sighed and took the bags of chamomile out and placed them into the trash can. Now the pills. I opened the bottle and grabbed one of the pills. Half of one should be enough. I broke open the capsule, careful not to spill any of the contents. I poured all of the contents into one of the teacups. I hope this isn't too much. I grabbed both of the cups and started to walk to the bedroom. I hope she likes the tea. I walked into the room, seeing Wyan just sitting there calmly. I brought tea, I said happily as he smiled at me. Thank you, she said as I handed her one of the cups. I watched as she started to drink some of the drug liquid. How is it? I asked as she took a drink. Oh, it's good, she said as I nodded happily. I'm glad you like it, I said. Soon. I watched as her eyes begin to close. Dr. Glass. Her words seemed to fall short as she begins to start dropping the mug in her hand. Oh, you must be sleepy, I said, wrapping my hands around hers, making sure not to smell any of the hot liquid on her. Her body soon began to fall limp into mine as I tried my best to support her. Wyan muttered softly, fighting to stay awake as I brushed my fingers through her hair. Don't worry, just go to sleep, I muttered, starting to rock her back and forth while humming a sweet lullaby. Sorry, Wyan, but this is the best place for you. I felt her slowly slip into unconsciousness as I smiled. Finally where you belong, right by me. I felt my arms grow even tighter around her. I'll never let you go. I felt my smile get wider. Little asshole, I'll tell you that much. Little fucking asshole. We're so close, yet so far. I want to finish this, y'all. I want to finish this so bad. You guys have no idea. No idea how much I want to finish this. Been waiting for this moment. Anyways, we're going to finish this. Maybe. It depends. But I hope we do. Anyways. This is probably going to be the worst ending because it's Dr. Iceberg. He's the worst of the worst. But this is a cute pic, though. I like this. Slay, my guy. But don't slay, because you did not slay in the story. Anyway. Dr. Ellis Gill, Iceberg, ending. Wyan's POV. My eyes slowly fluttered open. What happened? I felt something fuzzy on me. Where? I slowly sat up, feeling many fluffy blankets fall off of me. I heard someone hum as I turned my head, seeing Dr. Iceberg lean up against the doorway, drinking from a mug. So you finally woken up. That's good, he said, taking a sip of his drink. What happened? I said softly as he sighed. Well, you almost died. He said, walking over to the bed. You were bleeding out of your chest and stomach, he said, sitting down on the soft bed, moving a little closer. See? He asked, moving away the shirt I was wearing, revealing bandages that were slightly stained red. Oh. I blushed at his cold touch. Dr. Iceberg chuckled and moved away. How are you feeling? Any pain? He asked as I looked up at him for a second. No. My head does feel fuzzy, though, I muttered, rubbing my head. Yes, that's probably because of the painkillers, he said, taking another sip from his drink. I stared at Dr. Iceberg's cup as he seemed lost in thought. Dr. Iceberg? I muttered softly as he looked up at me. He hummed. What are you drinking? I asked, trying to make conversation. Oh, hot chocolate. Want some? He asked as I nodded. That actually sounds good. I shivered slightly at the cold room. All right, give me a minute, he said as he stood from the bed. Also, Ellis Gill. That's my name. Dr. Iceberg is just a code name, he said as I nodded. All right, thank you, Ellis. Excuse me, I said, smiling at him. Yeah, whatever, he said, quickly walking out of the room. All right, bitch, I see how it is. I looked around the room, seeing a nice, cozy room that looked like it would be perfect. It would be the perfect winter home. Oh, wow. I looked at all the nice, fluffy blankets that were layered on top of me. I wondered why I wasn't hot. My thoughts were cut off as I shivered. Oh, yeah, this room is freaking freezing. I rubbed my shoulders, trying to keep warm. He placed these things on me to keep me warm, right? I pulled the blankets that fell on me back over me. I started to cuddle into the blankets more. Nice and warm. I cuddled my face into the blankets, sniffing them a little. They smell nice. I felt the fuzziness creep back in as I cuddled into the blankets even more. I was snapped out of the warmness as the clicking of a door closing. I sat up, letting the blankets fall back down from my body. Sorry, did I startle you? Ellis asked, holding a different cup in his hand. Oh no, I was just zoning out. I giggled slightly as Ellis walked over to me. Here, he said, handing me the cup as I grabbed it, feeling the warm liquid seep through the glass of the cup. I brought the cup to my lips, sipping the warm liquid. It's nice, I said as I closed my eyes, letting the warm liquid run down my throat. Is it good? He asked as I nodded. Yes, very, I said, letting my hands fall to the cup to my lap alongside with the cup. I have something to tell you, Ellis said, sitting down on the bed, excuse me. I looked at him as he seemed to be picking his words carefully. I don't know whether to be blunt or just sugarcoat it, he muttered, pulling out a nicely folded paper rose. I know it isn't a real one, but I hope you still like it, he whispered softly, handing me the rose. Oh, I whispered, what's this? Why a rose? I played with the rose in my hand. This is kind of a confession, to put it simply. I really like you. More than a friend, I mean, he said, rubbing the back of his neck shyly. Oh, may the one who deny him have mercy on their soul. 'Cause when I read what he would do in the ABC, I wanted to yeet myself off the building, 'cause that seems like a perfectly better life / death than to be with that man at all. Anyways, this is if you accept his love. I stared at him for a moment. I stopped as I watched Ella's face turn happy for a second, then turn blank again. That was cute. Did he think I was going to accept his feelings? I blushed a little. That's really cute. I blushed more. I think I like you too, I said slowly as I watched him blush. Ha ha. He giggled. He giggled, turning around and shoving his face into the blankets. I watched as his legs move up and down. You seem happy, I said, giggling, as he moved his face from the blankets. Of course I am, he said, pouting. Aren't you? He asked as I giggled again. Yes, I'm very happy, I said, smiling at him. He blushed and looked away. Just go back to sleep. You had a long day, he muttered into the bed, but I just woke up. I suddenly felt tired. Yeah, okay. I muttered, placing the cup on the side table. I wonder what's going to happen now. I moved under the covers and I slowly felt myself slip into darkness. This is if you deny his love. May mercy be on your soul if you deny it. I stared at him for a moment. I stopped as I watched his face turn angry for a split second before turning back to normal. Oh, shit. I felt myself shiver. Fuck. What am I going to do? I looked down at the cup in my hands. I just can't lie. I bit my lip. I can't accept your feelings. I said slowly. I gasped as I felt 2 hands wrap around my throat. What? The 2 hands tightened around my throat as I couldn't get any more words out. Why couldn't you just say yes? Ellis smeared as he tightens his hands. No. I felt the oxygen in my lungs quickly run out as I started to panic. Let go! I started to thrash, only for Ellis to tighten his hands more. Fuck! I started to see black spots appearing in my vision. Let go. I weakly clawed at his hands as I start to differ off. You could have just said yes. I heard Ellis mutter as I blacked out. Yep, may mercy be prayed on your damn soul because, ooh, he was never worth it, I swear. Alright, 2 more endings. We got this, y'all, we got this. Even though my throat's literally dying right now. Hold up, let me go get a drink real quick. Alright, y'all, so I'm at 6% right now, but if you hear me from a distance, it's because I can't record with my microphone when my phone is low. So, yeah, we're just gonna make it through, though. We're gonna make it through, and I got orange juice. So don't worry, I'm staying hydrated. Anyways, we are in R.J.I Gerald ending. Whew. Wine's POV. My eyes slowly fluttered open. What? I felt my head slowly start to spin slightly. Ugh. I groaned, rubbing my head. Where am I? Where am I? I felt something slip from my arm as I looked down, feeling a big quilt. Huh? I looked at myself, seeing I was in a sweater and shorts. What the hell? I started to look around, seeing I was in a nice and cozy room that looked slightly used. I moved my head to the side, jumping as I saw Dr. Gerald sleeping. What is he doing here? I saw that he was sleeping, sitting up. Did he fall asleep watching over me? I stared at his face as he softly snored. Should I wake him up? I waited for a moment before I reached out and touched his shoulder. Hey, wake up. I muttered softly, pushing him a little. What? He yelled as he's sitting up straight. Oh. Dr. Gerald muttered softly, noticing my awake state. Hey, you're finally awake. He said, nah. Yeah, I guess I am. I said, blushing slightly. What happened? I asked him as he seemed to tense. Well, I don't really know. He started looking down. I found you, bleeding out on the ground, he said slowly, and I took you home so I could patch you up. He said even more slowly. That's kind of weird. I looked at his face as he seemed to be avoiding my eye contact with a red face. Why'd you help me? I asked, seeming to startle him. Dr. Gerald seemed to pause. He muttered, well. He paused as his face began to get even redder. I really like you, Ian, he said kind of quickly. Huh? I asked him, looking at him. I felt my face redden. Oh, I muttered, looking down. Wait, for what? I looked back at Gerald. I blushed. Wait, why? I asked as he covered his face with his hands. I don't know. Just one day I started to see you differently, and He stopped as I could see his ears getting red. Well, I paused, thinking, how am I supposed to respond to this? I looked at him as he still hid. I can't just keep ignoring this, can I? I looked down at my hands. Sorry. This is if you accept his feelings. I looked back at him. I blushed. I like you too, I muttered softly, seeing him as he shot up and looked at me. Really? He asked, staring at me. I felt my face become even redder. Yeah, I said slowly, rubbing the back of my head and looking down. I felt Dr. Gerald wrap his arms around me. Thank you, he muttered as I felt some of his tears on my shoulder. Calm down, I muttered, patting his back. I pushed my face into his shoulder. He smells nice. I blushed. Such a creepy thought. I closed my eyes and nuzzled into his shoulder. Dr. Gerald. I held her as she nuzzled her face into my shoulder. She smells so nice. I closed my eyes, feeling myself grow excited as I held her closer. Don't become a pervert. 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 And then just repeating. I stopped as I swallowed the drool in my mouth. I nuzzled my head into her shoulder, making her giggle. That's right. I blushed. I can't ruin her just yet. I closed my eyes as I sniffed her hair. Not yet. I smiled. This is if you deny my boy's feelings here. Well, he's not really the boy, but y'all get the point. I looked back up at him. I'm sorry. I paused as he shot his head up with teary eyes. What? His voice quivered slightly. Oh no. I stopped as he looked at me with pleading eyes. Damn it. I don't feel the same. I muttered, slowly looking down. Don't look at him, 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 don't look at him. If you look at him, you're just gonna feel bad. I heard him start sniffling. I looked back up at him as I watched him wipe tears away. Oh no. I bit my lip as more tears fell from his eyes. I'm sorry. I muttered, feeling my heart break. It's okay. He muttered, hiccuping a little. Damn it, don't cry. It makes me want to cry. I pulled Dr. Gerald into a hug as I rubbed his back. Don't cry. I said softly, hearing him sniff. Why did I feel so bad? I rocked him back and forth as he was close. I'm sorry for doing this. You don't have to feel responsible for this. I muttered, running my fingers through his hair. I know, I just really like you, Ian. He said, pulling away from me as I stared into his red eyes. Ah, shit. I bit my lip as I leaned in and kissed his forehead. Don't feel sad, I muttered softly, blushing as Dr. Gerald pulled me into a hug and sobbed. I patted his back and nuzzled into his shoulder, even if it's for a moment. I hummed softly, trying to calm him down. Maybe I can make him feel better. I closed my eyes and kept rubbing circles into his back. Note, people, that this is called emotional manipulation. If someone uses this to make you feel bad, they're not a good person to be around. Know the difference between someone being vulnerable and someone trying to use you. That's nice. That is nice. So basically, this is a nice example of how someone would basically emotionally manipulate you. I've seen that countless times with other people, and it's kind of sad, honestly, like, really. Alright, so this is the last one. And it's already, like, past an hour, honestly. It's been an hour for now, currently. An hour and 1 minute so far. Let me cry a little. Oh my god. This is gonna take a little bit to edit. It's okay, I can read this one more thing before I quickly go to bed. I got this. Dr. Charles Odgen Gears ending. Second fave boy, gonna be honest. Okay, let's check the pic. Okay. Mafia doctor. Wine's POV. I could feel someone running their hand through my hair. Who? I paused, feeling their warm, soft hands softly move strands of hair out of my face. Who is that? I shifted slightly, trying to get closer to the hand, only to be stopped, feeling a hot white pain in my tummy. Ugh. I groaned, feeling the pain slowly fading away as someone rubbed my hand. Nice and warm. I slowly leaned into the hand, feeling the hand start to slip away. I could hear someone make a small noise as the hand left me quickly. Ugh. I shivered, missing the hand. Why'd you go? I felt someone press their hand to my shoulder, shaking me a little. Ugh. I said softly, not wanting to open my eyes, as I heard someone sigh. Sleep for another day, then. I'll be waiting here, for you, my love. I felt someone kiss my forehead, then quickly disappear. Time skip. I blinked a few times. What a nice dream. I shivered sitting up. Wait, where am I? I felt fuzzy all over. What? I looked around, seeing a nice and neat room that was decorated very nicely with browns and green colors. I moved slowly, trying to sit up. I feel like my head's in a fog. I can barely feel the blankets on top of me. I blinked a few more times, moving my hand in front of my face. I don't even feel like I'm in my body right now. It's just like I'm watching. I blinked again, feeling someone pat my head. Seems you slept well. I followed the hand, seeing the curious but blank expression of Dr. Glass, where he rubbed his thumb under my eye. So warm. I still felt dizzy. Don't you remember? He asked slowly, making me lay back down. Remember? I asked. Yes, don't you remember? He asked again. No. I asked, are you in pain? He asked suddenly. Pain? Yeah, pain. I nodded slowly. He lifted a glass of water to my mouth. This will take it away, he said. As I started to take some sips of water, I felt my head started to get fuzzier. It's okay. I'll explain everything soon enough. Just rest a little bit more. I heard him mutter. I felt my eyelids get extremely heavy as they closed. Dr. Gears POV. I brushed my hand over her hair, watching her sleep. This is the 5th time she's woken up this month. I sighed, looking at the drugged water in my hand. I need to up the doses. I sighed, but for now, it's fine. I felt my eyes soften as I watched her chest rise and fall. So, excuse me? Like, so we're just gonna become incapacitated now? If that is the right word. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Okay. I got this. This is the last thing. I don't think this would be counting as a chapter, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Report. Level access code required. Welcome, O5 Council. Report. On X, a body matching the description of one Wyan Emin Ellen has found lying on the southeast west hall of Sector B3. The body of Wyan, or SCP, number of choice, was found with 27 punctures through the chest. Metal debris was found 15 meters from the body, covered in the recipient's blood. It was declared at 3 p.m. that SCP number of choice was dead due to the blood loss after many hours of failed blood transfusions. After the which will now be referred to as by the incident of Ka Omega, every SCP in the surrounding area and other SCP sites number of choice has visited when into hibernation for approximately 3 to 2 days. After 3 to 2 days, all of the SCP started to lash out or disappear into thin air. All of the SCPs who have acted out have been put into high security containment or terminated. Strange, irregular behavior has been spotted in many other SCPs across the world. Addendum. Any doctors that have been in contact with SCP blank number of choice, please come in for a psychological evaluation. Even those who are under the psychological branch of the Foundation. Addendum. This file clearance level has been updated to clearance level 5. Anyone who views this file should be immediately reported in the Insight Medical Wing. Read this file without proper clearance level can cause severe depression and suicidal thoughts. Addendum. This file should Notes. You know what sucks about being a powerful reality bender? You don't forget, no matter how hard you try. I envy you, Dr. Glass. You can smile now because you were cowards and forgot her. You can't kill yourselves either. Maybe it looks like you did, but you didn't. Screw that lucky ice bastard who blows his brains out and got it covered up under the guise of too much work. God, I feel like Jack now. Complaining about my immortality. Guess we'll just have to wait and see until the sun blinks out of the sky. At least I can drown out my feelings with alcohol. Like Connie. Though, when I close my eyes, I see her. It isn't Lily anymore. I don't know what's worse, her or Lily. I wake up in tears. It's not sad tears anymore, but waking up knowing that she's dead. It hurts just the same. Maybe I should just retire like Dr. Gerald. Even though I know he's just looking up at the sky waiting for the day of his bad luck to kill him so he can be with her. Maybe if I stay in this godforsaken foundation, I'll find something that can kill me. Dr. Alto Clefs Francis, last name I can't pronounce. Notes. Dr. Clef it is not the procedure to leave such a personal note on a file report of incident K Omega. We've lost so many men in the preceding incidents. Please have some respect for those who have died. Dr. Gears. Notes. Bite me. Dr. Otto Clef. Bro really said, bite me, bitch. Anyways, we is at the end. We read the whole thing. Painfully so. Painfully so, I went through the whole thing. Finally, the satisfaction of reading this gives me... It's just beautiful. It's really beautiful. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of this book. Was it worth reading all the way to the end? Which ending did you like best? Let me know in the comments down below. My least favorite ending, I could tell you right now, was Dr. Icebergs. And I think it was Dr. Glass and Alto Clefs too. I didn't know. Jack Bright's was, it's okay. Kondrakis, I can't exactly remember. It wasn't that important to me. You know, it's just like, it's just different. Honestly, to me, it's very different. So, yeah. It's just a little different, y'all. It's just a little different. But just let me know what's your favorite ending and your least favorite ending in the comments down below. Cause there could be a lot of shared opinions. It could have definitely gotten worse. Honestly, it really could have. It really could have. I'm finally glad we did end this story because it was a long time coming. Did I like this story? Did you like this story, first of all? If you did, if you did or you didn't, please comment down below. I may or may not use it for future reference. Just depends, you know, to find either for better, more improved, or similar stories, just depending on what your opinion is, or slash suggestion. But my opinion, it wasn't really my favorite book. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It wasn't really my favorite book. It was one of those things where someone suggested it, you guys voted on it, I'll read it for you guys. Not my most favorite book, but I'll swing with it. The only real reason why it wasn't my favorite is because sometimes it was hard to read, and also at the same time, it just at some points it didn't really make sense. And plus, it to me, it just didn't really make sense for some characters to do certain things, and then other characters to do different things. I feel like it just could have been improved, but I understand if this is like a newer book, it's old. I understand people improve their writing. It takes practice. So I'm not going to hate on this book like other people, depending on what type of book they enjoy would. But it could have definitely been better. But it's not bad. And plus I read it for the sake of my subscribers since they suggested it. And I finally finished it to the end. If you guys have any suggestions on a new story that you guys would like me to read, please comment them down below. Otherwise, I will be posting a new vote soon of the stories that have been suggested to me. And just show them off. And then mix it with some stories that I would suggest that we should read. Because, I mean, I've read some pretty good stories recently. And they're very, very, very good. So, yeah. You guys just gotta let me know, man. Communication is important. But yeah, we finally ended the story. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this story. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. But anyways, if that makes sense. So yeah. Anyways, your girl sadly gotta go because her throat is drier than the damn Sahara Desert right now.